Hi, Jai.
Hello.
Did I pronounce your name right?
Yeah, that's
Yes?
it.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good.
So, you were raised by your mom,
Uh-huh.
and you were raised in Australia.
Yeah.
How was it?
Being raised in Australia is, I mean, it's normal for me. It's like anyone else. But I think the Australian culture is really cool. Super energetic, super sporty. So as a kid, I was a super outgoing and sporty person. And yeah, I can't imagine being raised anywhere else in the world. I mean, coming to places like this, you can sort of imagine it and how different it would be and how cool it would be. But being raised in Australia was cool.
And were you always raised around music?
No, so my dad was the only person in my family that was musical. Mom, grandparents, aunties, uncles sort of had no musical talents. So my dad was the only person. So it was kind of just a thing that I'd worked on as a kid.
So, in what way did your dad, like, did he play a lot of music or?
He was a singer. He was a singer, and yeah, he always used to sing. But my parents split up when I was 2, so it was kind of difficult to keep that musical connection. But when I was with him, it was always music and sport and fun. So it kept that passion alive. So yeah, it was kind of just something that I had created as a child myself.
And you learned to play the guitar by 14
Mm-hmm.
by yourself.
I did. I googled it on YouTube. It was like how to play guitar, and I was just learning of tutorials and of videos and.
And then I read somewhere that you never wanted to make a career out of music. So what changed?
Opportunities. I mean, sometimes things pop up and you'd have to be stupid to say no. And I mean, in saying I didn't want to make a career out of it, it was never my intentions. Not that I didn't want to, it's just, as a kid, I had never said, when I grow up, I'm going to be a professional singer. It was never like that. It was kind of like,
What did you want it to become?
I wanted to work with animals. I wanted to like work in a zoo or in a shelter or something like that. And then I went to high school and I fell in love with music, and it sort of over time just developed and opportunities started popping up, and then X Factor came along.
How?
Just through, I mean, X Factor was kind of it was a stab in the dark. I was used to watch it on TV, and I was used to sort of be like, yeah, you know what, I could do that. I could be that person. And I said to Mum one night, I was like, you know what? I said, I'm going to audition for this TV show. And she was like, okay, that's cool. Whatever, go and do it. So I did, and I didn't expect it to work out like that. And yeah, that was one of those opportunities.
And the moment you started, was that also the moment that you decided, I want to do this professionally?
At first, on the show, I was kind of just along for the journey, you know. I wasn't really there to win or there to place or do well in the TV show. It was kind of just something that I wanted to experience and learn from. And then as the show kept going on, I kept progressing and going through to the next level, the next stage, and I was like, wow, like this is like a serious opportunity here. And people must obviously think that, you know, I'm capable. So yeah, I ended up coming third, and I signed with Sony Music, and ever since then I've just been writing and performing, and it's been amazing.
So your first EP, your first single was released in 2013, Your Eyes,
Yeah.
after that. Did you help writing that song?
No, so with those singles on the TV show, they get picked for you and written by other people and then presented to you. And pretty much they're like, yeah, here's your song. Do you like it? If you do, awesome. If not, too bad, you're going to release it. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, I didn't write that, but I did like the song a lot when I heard it. I was like, yes. And it was such a new experience for me. I mean, having someone write a song for you was like such a big deal as a 14-year-old.
Yeah, because you used to write your songs yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I used to dabble. It wasn't something that I would, you know, sit down in a studio. I'd just have my guitar in my bedroom. It wasn't something that was serious, but I did enjoy writing.
And you were pretty young. Where did your inspiration came from?
My inspiration.
I mean, it's a while back. So.
Yeah. it was, I don't know whether it was trying to prove to myself that I could do something like that. I mean, I don't really know. I was just like, I wanted to have fun, and I was like, yes, this could be so fun, and I'd been watching it on TV. And then when I made it through to the live shows, I remember the schedule that we had, and I just fell in love with how the show worked and how every day was and the people that you met and stuff. But I'm not really sure. I just wanted to give something a shot.
And then on your last album, you have 4 covers and 1 self-written song.
Yeah.
Why did you choose to do 4 covers?
Well, we released that. It was an EP, and we released it because I was sort of writing at the time, and I was trying to find a sound, and my voice had just broken, so it was super shaky. And we weren't really in a rush to sort of release something that was not 100% there. So I sat down with a label, and we were like, how about we just release some covers? Because, you know, I hadn't found my sound yet. It was kind of a risky move, and I didn't want to release something that was mine, that wasn't 100% me, because I was changing, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think that's why we chose to go with the more cover.
So in that sense, with like looking for your sound, do you feel like you're on your way with that, with your new EP coming up in June?
100%. This new EP, it's called Heart Miles. It just represents the last 9 months of discovering things and discovering who I am and who I want to be, and people I've met along the way, and yeah, just my music and how it reflects on my life. And I'm really proud of this one. I mean, it's been a long 9 months trying to figure out this sound and going to a studio and writing a song and being like, ugh, that's not the one. But yeah, I think we're finally starting to get somewhere now.
Because I also read somewhere that you said in an interview that you feel like your age is a factor. In what way?
Yeah, I mean, when I first came off the show, I was only 14. So going to a studio at the age of 14 and trying to sit down with a 25 to 45-year-old person and be like, look, this is what I'm talking about. It's about this girl. And these are real feelings to me. And they sort of sit there and they're like, cool. As if, like, you don't know what you're talking about. So it's kind of hard, and I'm only still so young, I'm only 17, but over that 3 years, when you spend a consistent 3 years in a studio with the same people, doing the same thing, you learn a lot, and there's a lot that you can change. So being a little bit older now, it helps, because I can now walk into a studio and be like, all right, listen, this is what I want to write, this is what it's about, and they go, oh, okay, cool. And start working on it.
So it feels like you're being taken more seriously.
Yeah, more seriously, and also I have a lot more input in what goes into my music, which is so important to me because it's my music, and at the end of the day, it gets released to the world, and it's my passion, and it's what I love doing, and you don't want to release something that wasn't understood in the first place by the people who are creating it.
Yeah. So have you written a lot of songs on your new EP?
All of them. Wrote all of them.
You wrote all of them?
Yeah.
And can we expect a debut album soon?
Yes, soon. Next year.
So why the decision to do 4 EPs before a debut album?
It's kind of risky to release an album when you're not 100% sure of your sound and of where you want to go, because it'll just be all over the shop. So I think EPs are great for development, because you can start off with something, and the next EP is sort of a little bit more developed, and the next EP is a little more developed. So it's kind of just like a scaffolding, and it really just sets the mood until you get that right EP, and you're like, yep, this is my sound, this is what I like, this is what I want, and then you go, boom, album.
Do you have that feeling with your last EP?
I think this EP is a good setup for the next EP. There will be another EP after this one, around October.
Okay.
Just to sort of open up a little bit more.
And you're already really successful in Australia, and you moved to the United States. Is that different?
I feel like Australia and the United States are very similar in culture. I mean, you wouldn't think so, but the people are very similar, super friendly, super nice. But the only thing in America is that the market that you're working with is a lot bigger. And there's a lot more people to work with and to write with, and I find it easier to sort of get in my zone. And it sounds weird, and I try and explain this to people, but America just feels like, I don't know, it's like my like little niche. Like, I have no idea what it is, but every time I step off the plane in LA, it's just like, yes, this is cool. Like, I'm back.
So, are you able to walk down the street in Australia?
Yeah, before school. During school, just not afterwards. I mean, of course, I can still walk down the street, but it just gets a bit many.
And that's different in the States, or?
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
And then your inspirations. Who are your biggest music influences?
Influences or inspirations?
Both.
Both. So, inspirations probably Justin Timberlake, who else? Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, Bruno Mars, Justin Bieber.
What do you admire about them?
Just their careers and what they've done. I mean, and there's so many different people. I could make a list of 500 people that I'm like, yes, I want a part of my career to be like that. But yeah, just the way that they've done things. And I know being within this industry and having this, this profession, it's hard. Like, there's so many little pieces that sort of join together to work towards this one big thing. And if one of those pieces is out of line, then it doesn't work. So I admire the people that have gained a success from starting from nothing and just building their way up, because I know how hard it is and how much work you have to put in.
Yeah, and we haven't heard your new EP yet, but when you look at that EP, what was the first song you started working on? Waves,
which it's an Instagram now. It's on Spotify. You can listen to it straight away. But yeah, Waves was sort of where the EP started for me. I mean, I was in the studio and I was writing, and I was kind of like, I'd been in LA for like 3 months, and I was just writing these songs, and yeah, they were all cool songs and they were really good, but there wasn't this sound. I mean, these songs were coming from other places, like they were influenced by this person, and there wasn't that song that I'd sat down and I'd been like, this is coming from here and I'm just gonna put it on the paper. And one night I sat down with my guitar and I started writing Waves, and I wrote the song. And I took it into the studio and I said to this guy, I said, look, I said, I wrote this song last night. I said, please just listen to what I have to say, please. I have to get this one right. I have a good feeling. And he was like, dude, I've never done anything like this before, but I'm gonna try. And he killed it, he did an amazing job. And that for me was really the starting point, because I was kind of like this is my sound. Like, it's unique and it's me. Like, I was trying to think, I was like, who else does this? You know what I mean? Like, who else? What does this sound like? And I couldn't find anything, which I really liked. And I was like, I'm finally onto something. After all these years, like, I finally created something that I can say is mine. And that was really the starting point for me. And I used the sonic sound and the way Waves sounded to sort of shape the whole EP.
And for the future, do you already have future plans?
As in your career? Yeah, we're pretty booked out in like 2 years in advance, so it's pretty crazy. But one thing that I've learned is that you sort of just have to go with the flow, and what doesn't happen, what happens. But it's always good to have a plan and have a vision.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.